In this video, we're going to learn how to use the mechanical minor label portion of the Oregon ePermitting app. If you don't have the Oregon ePermitting app downloaded on your Android device yet, please go to the Google Play Store, which you see there below the search bar. Says Play Store. Search for the Oregon ePermitting app, download it, install it, agree to all of the questions for access, and fill in your user information so you can get started. Once you have the Oregon ePermitting app downloaded, you can touch on it, and it's towards the middle of my screen above the search bar. It says Oregon Inspect below it. This is the state of Oregon's Oregon ePermitting app on the Android device. Now, you can use this as a contractor to look up information on your permits that you've pulled, but in this case, we're learning how to use the mechanical minor label portion. And to do that, we're going to touch on the mechanical minor label permit section at the very bottom there. When I do that, it's going to bring up our login, and you're going to be using the same login information that you use to log into your ePermitting account. If you don't have one of those, then you probably don't have mechanical minor labels, or maybe you're an employee and the company that you work for doesn't want you using their login. You can create a free ePermitting account at buildingpermits.oregon.gov so you can actually use the mechanical minor labels portion. You'll use that username or email and password to log in, and we highly recommend you check the Remember Me box so that you don't have to enter that every single time that you want to log in. And if you need assistance with that, please call the Oregon ePermitting Help Desk with our local number or 800 number, or shoot us an email. I'm going to hit log in, and it's going to log me into my account. Now, the first thing we're going to see here is the login that I've used is actually associated to a CCB number. In this case, we've got a fake license number 1 that we've used to purchase 4 books of mechanical minor labels. Now, if you happen to be in a situation where you're not the contractor or you're not using the login information of your company and you're using another one, that's okay. You won't have any permits populated because you didn't use your account to buy them. In that case, you're going to use the search functionality, which is towards the top of the screen on the left-hand side and the blue bar, and it's a magnifying glass, and we're going to go ahead and touch on that. And now you can search by permit number if your company gave that to you, or if you know the company CCB number, you can enter that license number there. And before we do that, we want to make sure everyone knows that by submitting this search, you agree that it is fraudulent to submit an inspection onto another contractor's minor label permit and could result in you or your employer losing access to purchasing minor labels or other enforcement action from the Building Codes Division or Construction Contractors Board. So in this case, I'm going to use another fake license that we've created to show you how to actually search for those other permits so you can add them to your app so you can use them to submit on. So in this case, I've searched for a different license number, and we see that there are 2 books of 10 that have been purchased using that number. I'm going to go ahead and hit the Add to My List option, and those are now on my list. And I just have to touch the back arrow at the top left-hand side of the screen to get back to the main portion of the mechanical minor label section of the app. Next, I'm going to show everyone the log out button is in the top left-hand corner. It's the little box with the arrow going backwards out of it. If you touch it, it's going to ask you, do you want to log out? And in this case, I'm going to hit no because I don't want to log out. So I'll hit no. And then what I'm able to do is to continue using the app and not log out. So everyone knows if you don't use the app for 10 minutes straight, you're going to be automatically logged out, and that's a safety feature we have on the app. But it's real easy to log back in if you touch the Remember Me little box there, so you can log back in. Next thing we're going to go over is the menu. Now you can see here below the blue bar it says slide down to refresh. I can slide the screen down to refresh, or when I hit menu, I can refresh as well because we've made it the first option on the menu after you touch that. The next thing on there is our allowed or excluded work list. And this is every installation that's allowed. There's only 6 types of installations that are allowed to use a mechanical minor label on. And then the second page as we go to the right is our exclusions. You cannot use a mechanical minor label for these. So we highly encourage you to study those and know that these are the only acceptable installations to use a mechanical minor label on. Then we'll hit the back arrow at the top left-hand side of the screen again to get back to our main screen here. I'm going to hit menu again. The next thing that we've provided is under the allowed or excluded work list is the inspection photo guide. For every one of the 6 allowable installations, we have provided an inspection photo guide. So here, I'm just going to select new mini split 1 and 2 family dwelling. When I do that, it brings up an inspection photo guide that gives you a description of what we want, what to provide in the photograph, and then a sample photo of what we're looking for each one of these installations. And you can see here, there'll be multiple page documents, and you can access those and know exactly what we want to see in those pictures and how we want those pictures taken. And we do that for every installation. So I'm going to back out again using the back arrow. The next option on the menu, after I press the menu option and pull it up again, is going to be app user instructions. And that's a PDF document that's going to show you step by step with screenshots of how to use the app, and basically this video training that we've gone over here. So if I touch menu and go to app user instructions, those are the instructions on, with screenshots of how to use the app. The next option is minor label support. When I touch that, it's actually going to slide that app to the side and open, using a web page, our mechanical minor label program website, where you can find out about mechanical minor labels, about purchasing them. You can even use your phone or device, your Android device, to log in to purchase more labels. You can contact them by phone or email. And then we've also put the type of work allowed or excluded on here again. And to get back to that app, we can hit the back arrow on the bottom right-hand side of the screen there, or you can get there any number of ways based on your preference. And then the final option on the menu is the training video, which we're taking right now. So that is a look at the menu, and we can hit cancel at the bottom of it to get out of it. The next thing I want to show everyone is the outbox. It's under the menu on the top right-hand side of the screen. And every time you submit your photos for inspection, it's going to automatically kind of put it in the outbox, and it'll stay there until it sends. Now, if you don't have reception or good enough reception and you're already logged into the app, it may go there. If you have an error, if something happens and you get an error, it'll stay in your outbox, and you can always just go into the outbox. And when I do that, there's going to be no inspections in there, but you can touch where it says outbox and go in, and if there is one in there, you'll be given the option to retry or to resubmit that inspection. So there's a look at the outbox. And now we're back out here at our main screen, and we're going to go over how to actually submit for inspection. So in this case, I'm going to use this second one here that ends in 0044 mechanical minor label. And I'm going to touch on that one. And the first option you get is to take photos. So if you touch the camera, now photos are required. So if I touch on the camera there, it's going to either ask me to use a camera or photo gallery. And we do highly recommend to use the app and the camera within the app to take those pictures. But if you're in a no reception situation and you have to use your camera on your device, you can do that as well and then upload them whenever you have reception. But in this case, I've got reception. I'm going to touch camera, and then I'm going to start taking pictures. Now it's going to allow you to take 10 photos at a time. Actually, on an Android, you're going to be able to take as many as you want. The iPhone restricts you to 10 at a time. Once you're done taking photos, you hit done. And those photos are all going to populate up at the top there. and you can swipe over. Now for each picture that you took, you can touch on it, you can view it, which I'm doing now, or you can touch on it and delete it. So let's say you took multiple or you took some blurry ones, you can go ahead and delete those. On every single one of these submission pages, you have the same ability to look at that inspection photo guide to remind yourself of what we want to see. So we're making it as easy as possible for you. And again, if you just touch on any one of those, this new mini split, you'll have access to those and hit the back arrow to get back out. Now, this GPS location, or your right here where the purple icon is, you'll notice that it's going to automatically populate your location based on your GPS. Now, this is not correct. I'm not at that address right now. And this just shows you that GPS isn't always 100% accurate. I must be too close to the property line. But if you want to try to readjust that, you can hit that purple icon and it's going to repopulate. Now, even though it did two different addresses there. So now so I did the first one, it changed it to 2010 Southwest 44th Street. And then when I press it again, it repopulates to 72369 Southwest Corvola Road. So it finally got the right address. Now that's not going to happen every time. Most of the time it's going to pull up correctly. But if you're in a populated area, you're too close to a property line, it may not pick up the correct address. So you may want to walk around a little bit. If you don't have time for that, we give you the option to manually enter the job site address. And then hit save. But if it does pick up the correct address, you can just use that little checkbox that says same as current location, and it's going to use that same location that the GPS picked up on. Now, the next thing we want you to do is give us a description of work. We won't make you type this in. If you touch in that box, it's going to give you the description of work options for the 6 allowable installations. And you'll just choose the one that you want. I'll go ahead and choose replaced existing ventilation equipment. And then the next thing down below that is our installation date. We're going to want to click on that or touch on that calendar and go ahead and pick which date that we want for the installation. And in this case, I'm going to use today's date. But let's say that I did that installation yesterday, the day before, or even 2 weeks ago, and I forgot to enter it. We want to know the installation date, because that when this app processes, it's going to tell us when you submitted, but we want to know the installation date. So once you've entered all that information, once you've taken the pictures, you've got your address, you've got your description of work and the installation date, you can go ahead and submit. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to submit? I'll hit yes. And what it's going to do is start uploading and processing that report and send it to us. And once it's done, it's going to tell you that it was either submitted successfully, or if it gives you an error, it's going to put it in the outbox. But we'll notice here, the outbox has 0. It told us that it's submitted successfully. And now I'm going to refresh my list, even though it already did it. You'll notice that one that ends in 0044 is now 9 of 10 instead of 10 of 10. So every time you submit one, it's going to take one of those away and leave you with the remaining number of mechanical minor labels on that book that was purchased. So this has been how to use the mechanical minor label portion of the Oregon ePermitting app on an Android device. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh my data and then log out using the log out button in the top left-hand side of the screen. Yes, and it's going to pop me back out to the mechanical minor label permits login. And if I want to go back out to the ePermitting app and full functionality there, I can hit the back option again.